Hey everybody, Kurt Nelson here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're talking about timing. Timing to me is obviously the number one. Timing is everything. Now, having a move that moves more in balance and more consistently on time is really going to promote better timing and consistency within. But just in general terms, timing is to me is going to be rhythm into the fastball. I want to have a move that is going to be having good rhythm into a fastball. That's typically going to be kind of timies. We're trying to time off the fastball. Doesn't necessarily mean we're looking for the fastball, and we'll get into more approach stuff later. But that timing off of the move you have in relationship to the pitcher, right, is we can't go before handbrake. Anyone that tries to tell you that they can get ready on the leg lift is putting you in a position to really get in trouble. I think that you can start to see some guys might start to kind of creep maybe into a position to kind of anticipate handbrake. Someone that might be a little heavier on the front foot, which we would try and change anyways, but they might start to do the little kind of shift back a little bit as that leg is lifting. Sometimes that stuff works. Really, it's a game of seconds and microseconds. To me, I think that the pitcher is going to handbrake and throw, and we have to have a move that can be within that time frame. Level of play changes things a little bit. At the younger age levels, pitching is just not good enough to where we can really worry too much about a back move. And you can see guys at the highest level that can have a pretty big back move and still be relatively consistent with their time. But in terms of vision, in terms of posture, in terms of recognition, making a move towards the ground and forward in balance, it just allows me to see better. It really, truly does. My decision-making process is going to be so much better. I'm going to recognize off speed a lot more naturally. I'm going to take those tough pitches down, those tough pitches running away. I think immediately we're going to miss less. I think it gives us the opportunity to be more aggressive. I think that the timing to me is always going to be the number one thing. So if we're making a move back to see, everyone always said that we want to shift our weight back, take our hands back, and then kind of see and sit, right? Now, granted, there's a difference between that and like maybe what Goldschmidt or Nelson Cruz, or some of these hitters at the highest level that have a lot of success that kind of tend to kind of get down a little early, but they end up making a shift back to center to hit, right? And if you watch that in relationship to timing, it's off of pitch release. Some hitters can go forward and down slightly after pitch release. Typically someone that maybe has a little bit better motor, a little bit more of a Ferrari engine, have faster rotational capabilities. And then you see like the hitters that need to make a forward move, much earlier, a little bit beforehand, pitch release. There's a lot of different types of hitters out there. Everyone's a little bit different, but what I do think is I think everyone is also in the kind of realm of what they do in relationship to when they move, right? So, for instance, if you look like Bellinger right now, who has kind of the feet together, there's really no kind of gather move. It's kind of just, his ability to stand here, and then the pitcher breaks the hands, the arm starts going forward, and then he goes on pitch release, right? I mean, it might be a hair before pitch release, but it's relatively just chill, and then go forward on pitch release. And then you might watch somebody like maybe like Robbie Cano, who kind of has a little bit more of that kind of, move here for rhythm, where he's kind of moving back a little bit. He's doing that much earlier, much closer to handbrake and kind of arm getting going up. And, those work for those guys. So you kind of got to understand your move in relationship to the time, right? And then obviously the level of play to a certain degree does kind of even things out a little bit. And then obviously the quality of athlete that you're dealing with. But I truly believe, picking up, gathering on handbrake is a good marker for most. I think that you can kind of, see that for some hitters, they think handbrake and they're actually going on the arm up and it works great. Other hitters are going right off a handbrake as soon as they can. And other hitters that have a simpler move and less back move, they're a little bit more on, arm forward or pitch release. So I think it's all in context to the individual hitter. We talk so much about individualizing. So, whenever I ask a hitter, what's your timing marker? What's your timing point? Like, how do you feel that you time, in relationship to who you are? And you get so many different answers. I just try to turn around the fastball, or I just try to get up early and easy, or I'm going off handbrake, or You know, whatever it is, it's find what works for that hitter. And what works at 13U might not be working at 15U or 16U or 17U, or what works for a college hitter at 19U might not work in the big leagues, you know, someday. So we have to have the ability to adapt and understand and understand where our misses are coming from. But ultimately for me, to keep things kind of simple and kind of bring it back to kind of the simplistic side of things, is I think that having kind of an idea of getting going on a handbrake and then kind of going off of that based on the individual move, you'll be able to kind of maybe find like a marker or just a simple thought that allows you to kind of get things going a little bit. But timing is very difficult. I think if someone had the ultimate cure for timing, then they would make $1 gazillion in this game, because there's really no such thing, right? It's different for everybody, and we got to find out what works within those different hitters. And the previous video that I made, we talked about different stride mechanisms, you know, leg kicks, double taps, all those different pieces. So sometimes, you know, improving a way where we're loading and striding can immediately have a positive effect on our timing. And that's, for me, that's not shifting back as much, right? So overall, timing is unique. Figure out what works for that hitter, you know, during that period of time that they're in their life, in their developmental career, you know, or the highest level, wherever they're at, and then just go off of that and then make small adjustments. You know, maybe it's a thought, maybe it's a simple marker, whatever it ends up being. But timing is very difficult. You got to work on it. You got to understand it. So anyways, till next time, guys, take care.